G'day, Michael here. It's come to my attention that these hinges, the 155 degree hinges, with their soft close, which is called Blum motion, is a little hard to understand for the lay person. Of course, I've steadily grown into these things, I guess, over the last 30 years, so I've seen that these things evolve, so there's nothing really that complicated for me. But for the lay person, this can be quite a confusing hinge. These ones aren't so bad, but even they have a few tricks to be aware of. Now this video is about obviously how to put them together and how to adjust them, but also I want to explain their merits. These 155 degrees, zero protrusion, with the soft close, are quite a capable hinge. They need some explaining, and I'll probably need to do that by assembling and showing you the merits there. And these hinges are 110 degree integrated soft close. Now, everything you need for the soft close is actually incorporated in this hinge. I'll put them on the plywood door so they're easy to spot from the video as to which ones I have in my hand at the time. So the 110 degree integrated hinges are on the plywood, and I'll use the 155 degrees zero protrusion hinges on the white laminate. Okay, in both cases we need to have the cabinet prepared. Just set these aside for a second. This being the cabinet, obviously the side facing you with the edging on it represents where the door is going to be on. This is obviously the side of the cabinet, and the back basically to hold it together. Now, it doesn't matter which of these hinges we use, whether we're using the 155 degree hinges, I'll just put them in shot, or we're using the 110, they all use the same mounting plate. So you can actually interchange these hinges using the same mounting plate. So it's a common plate. So insert them. Okay. Now you want to be a little bit gentle with these screws. If you have a torque setting on like a drill, set it to a fairly low setting. Basically bring the torque setting up until you find that it's driving the screws home nicely. Before you tighten these screws, make sure they are in the plastic lugs are actually inserted properly in the hole, so everything's pressed home before you turn the screws in. Okay, and that's actually a good principle. With the hinges we want to do the same thing. We want to have the parts actually pressed home before we actuate the cam which holds them in. Okay, so there's our cabinet prepared. This side. Okay, I'm selling inserter on both of those. They don't require a tool or screwdrivers or fancy plugs. Basically that cam holds them in. That clasp mechanism, it does make these hinges a little bit more expensive, but it means you can swap out the hinges between the doors. So if you made a mistake in which hinge to buy, it's easy to swap them. Also, this clasp mechanism actually holds on the bottom edge of the hole, and it holds on a big area, so it's much stronger than any screws are going to be. Okay, so I'm going to put the 155 degrees on this one. You have to have them overhanging the edge of the table a little bit so you can pull the parts down. The 155 degree hinges sit nicely like that. Pressing them home, actuate the cam. Again, home, actuate the cam. Now, the soft close mechanism on these hinges is provided by this small part. This is the Blum motion. Now, you'll see on these hinges, you should be able to see in that video, there's some holes here. Basically, it's a matter of pressing the parts on. They're a little bit, they do resist a fair bit. Anyhow, there's one. I usually find that one is ample for two hinges, but if you want to have a slower closing, you can put a second one on the other hinge. Alright, so let's put this on. Put that where you can see it. Okay. Now what zero protrusion is all about is, let's say this is a drawer, and you've got the drawer behind the door. Many hinges, when you open the door, the hinge stays inside this space. But the zero protrusion hinges, which these are quite unique, I'm not sure if any other makes have got zero protrusion hinges. These are the only ones I'm aware of so far. But this allows like a drawer to slide in and out without hitting the door. Now when I put the 110 degree hinges on, which I'll do basically now, you'll see that this can't happen. It would catch the edge of the door. They're designed for a different operating geometry. But in the process of doing that little dance to get clear of the cabinet opening, it also goes a fair way clear of the cabinet. So I'll lay this on the back so you can perhaps see it from above. So as I open the door, see how it climbs a long way clear of the cabinet. So it's lifted a long way up as it's opening. So it throws well clear. That has two advantages. One, it can handle quite a bit of extra thickness, so that if you have a thicker door, that's accommodated with the rotation. So I'll do that a bit better. So the thickness is accommodated. Or if you had something like a mirror overhanging a little bit, it will operate in such a way that it doesn't hit. You see that? We've got quite a bit of clearance in the way that works. So not only have I got a lot of thickness here, I've also got it protruding past the edge of the door. So that is it's a big overhang plus extra thickness, and these hinges accommodate that. Of course, that may be dependent upon what obstructions you have on this side of the cabinet, but they certainly work really, really well for that application. Alright, so I'll swap out these hinges for the 110 degree hinges. The battery's going flat on my camera, I hope it lasts for this job. Side, and 110. Press the parts home. Now the default behaviour is for the soft close. I'll just show that here. You see it's slowly closing after a month of Sundays. Okay, it's closing. On here, there's a little switch, which I might have to do a bit of a close-up shot of. There's a little switch here which enables a kind of catch which holds down a tab in here. This tab is the soft close damper that allows that to take place. Right. If I turn this switch, I'll do a close-up in a second. If I turn this switch in such a way that it enables the catch, the first time this closes, it resists. But now that damper is actually held in the bottom of the hole, so it's no longer present. So now the hinge will just clap shut. So it's quickly shut. So now basically, I've got this one still with the soft close enabled, and this one in effect with the soft close disabled. If I put that on the cabinet, we've got a nicely closing door. If I wanted to slow that down, I could enable the other soft close. Alright, but now I was talking about the 155 degree hinges with the zero protrusion. This is the more common design of hinge, and as you can see it actually is well within the width of the cabinet. It's designed to sit next to, let's say you've got the end of the cabinet here, there might be a false panel or there might be like a continuation of another door. This is designed to operate next to that space. So maybe I'll show you from above. It's a bit hard to show. So if I was to hold that there, the door operates, can you see how the door operates? It stays on this side of that component. Right? Okay, so, but you can also see, by staying where it is, it's not coming clear. The hinge is a lot simpler, a lot smaller inside the cabinet, so the hinge itself is much smaller, but the door stays a little bit in front of the opening, which is fine if you've got an adjustable shelf or something behind, because it doesn't really affect how it obstructs. But you couldn't operate a drawer, you hit the back of the door. So that's the difference between these 110 degree hinges and 155 zero protrusion. Quite an interesting difference. Okay, so how do we adjust these things? There are a couple of areas of adjustment. To adjust up and down, the two screws on each of the mounting plate, if you loosen them, you can slide the plate up and down a couple of millimetres. So that's easily enough figured out. The front screw, which is kind of hidden inside the... Where are we now? Is vaguely visible in there. You have to look. It's inside this space here, which with the soft close on, you don't get access to. So you have to take the soft close device off so as to get access to that adjustment screw. But that is basically equivalent to this screw here. So it is consistent across the hinge range. So this front screw adjusts laterally. I don't know whether you can see that from that perspective. Perhaps I'll do it in the sand. Let's see, how well can you see that? I can put something against it. Okay, so that's tight. Now you can see that's produced quite a variation on what I had a minute ago. Adjusting the bottom one. Right, so I can wind them back in again. So that's the left and right adjustment. That's consistent across the hinges. And you can soon figure it out. Wind one way, it winds, moves the hinge one way. Wind the other way, it moves the hinge the opposite way. Okay, now the other adjustment is front to back. So the up and down is provided by the plates. The left and right was provided by this forward screw. And the rear screw is actually a bit of a cam. And you can wind, maybe I can show you the screw from this side, but the actuation you might be able to see better from the outside. You can see that gap, perhaps? And I'll close the gap up. So you can see by adjusting that cam, we open and shut the gap. So that allows you, if you've got a set of doors, that allows you to overcome some twists in the cabinets. Being able to rotate the door allows you to tidy up the line. Of course, you should do your best to make the cabinets, if you've got a set of cabinets, a straight line to start with, so you don't need to live on the hinge adjustments. But they have got quite a bit of adjustment. Yeah. Well, that I think sums that up. So you've seen how the parts go together. Oh yes, I better show you that that little catch doohickey. Okay. So this is a 155-degree hinge. That's the clasp for holding it into the hole drilled into the door. These holes here are to provide, where are we? Don't know whether you can see through there, I'll try and hold it such a way. In behind there's the one adjustment screw. Let's see, have we got that there? Yes, where are we? There, you can see behind there's a bit of an adjustment screw. That's your left and right adjustment screw. And of course, that's your forward and backwards adjustment screw. And the clip-on soft close, that's the device there. There are two holes. There's a few little hook fingery doohickeys in there that allow that to be held on. So that provides a soft close. It's basically a damper. But of course, to adjust the door, you need to take that back off again. Alright, now this little tacker is a bit more difficult to see. I hope I can get more zoom on it. Okay, you can see near this fingertip here there's a tiny little switch. So I'll press that little tab. You see this gadget here, which is in fact the soft close damper, has popped into action. Now push that a bit further. That provides the damping. As you can see, it's slowly closing. Okay, so that's the soft close is enabled. There we go, it's closing. Around there. This is very hard to do. It's back to front, counter to a mirror. Okay, but if I want to disable that soft close, where are we? That little tab right there. I'm going to have to switch that the other way. And what that does is when this damper tab thing gets pushed down, it gets held in place with a catch. So I'll just close it. That's held in place. Now that damper, now you can see that damper components down the bottom of the recess. The door would snap shut, no longer damped. It's a rapid sort of a close. Well, that's it for this demonstration. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, ask a question, leave a comment. That's it. Bye for now.